Successful professionals agree that prosperity, promotion, and productivity are only byproducts of winning. Although winning at work may seem like an impossible task, there is a methodical, scientific approach to clinching long lasting recognition in the workplace. According to recent research, including work by experts from McKinsey, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Psychology Today, Woman Magazine, Forbes, and Men's Journal, an organization assigns an inherent value to each employee it hires. That value is multidimensional and multivariate, factoring everything from experience and education to performance and potential. As an employee, you are assigned a value and thus become an asset for your employer. But there is one thing, and only one thing, that significantly increases your value in the organization's eyes and makes you worthier of getting ahead over time. That is potential. Your potential. In this program, we'll teach you how to be a winner at work. We'll share with you 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a professional. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweet Kiwi. I'm just very happy to have you around today. It's just a fantastic day. I hope you are doing marvelous as I am. I am doing marvelous. And if you are doing marvelous, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Now, today we want to talk about how to be 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a worker. How to be a winner at work. And this is it's just mind-boggling. It is a scientific approach, a methodical approach, and it's like 1 + 1 = 2. If you basically apply the steps I'm telling you today, you will be a winner in no time at work. Now, quickly give a shout out to Lucas Turner in Aspen Park, Colorado, Natasha Hopkins in Gilman, Colorado, and Joshua Smith in Milner, Colorado. We have millions and millions of viewers in the whole world. Thank you so much for your support, for your patronage, for your tips, everything. We really appreciate it. Now, before I tell you the number one step, let me give you a quote by Alexander Graham Bell. Concentrate on all your thoughts upon the work in hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Let me repeat that. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work in hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. And that's by Alexander Graham Bell, the great inventor. Now, one thing I want you to remember here is that if you like this show, I will strongly encourage you to watch another show that's been very, very popular, and that is called The Ultimate Vademecum on How to Impress Your Boss, Gain Admiration from Colleagues, Be Promoted Quickly, and Achieve Industry Recognition. Just another show that we just did, and it has gained a lot of accolades, and we just think you might want to check that one too. Now, number one, the first step, you want to craft your identity. Craft your professional identity. What do I mean by that? Number one, you need to identify your personal SWOT. You need to analyze your SWOT. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, you want to really identify what's really relevant in your industry. What are your strengths? Do you have some kind of skills, technical skills, emotional skills, soft skills, interpersonal skills, that kind of stuff, right? Those will be your strengths. Your weaknesses. What are the areas you need to work on? And you need to identify also the opportunities in the market, right? Because the opportunities depend on your industry and your job position, on your current position, as well as the threats. Now, after you do that, you want to focus on your strengths and opportunities, because nobody's perfect and no professional is perfect. So what you want to do here is you want to focus on your strengths and your opportunities. Forget about the weaknesses and threats for now, because there's nothing you can do about those in the short run. Or of course, you can take some courses, go to some workshops and seminars, but it takes time to be a skill, to be an expert in something. So focus on what you already know how to do and the opportunities in the market. Now, one thing you want to remember here is that there are 3 types of workers in any company, in any organization. in any government agency, any private company, whatever. You have the job worker, the career worker, and the mission worker. Now, you have to understand that those workers who get promoted all the time are the ones that are mission oriented. All right. So you want to leave the category of a job worker. What is a job worker really? Let me just kind of break it down for you. A job worker is just someone who just does the work they are assigned to. They come to work they just have the typical 9 to 5, right? So they show up at 9. I'm sure right now you're listening to me, either you're one or you have a colleague who is one. So a job worker is someone who shows up at work at 9 and leaves at 5. They leave on the dot. They're not hanging around. They're not sticking around for anything. They just get the job done. Whatever they are assigned, they just do it. They're not asking questions, no more. So this is the job worker. If you are a job worker, I have news for you, and I have bad news for you. You want to switch. You want to go into an upper category, a mission worker, or even a career worker, because a job worker, usually they get stuck, they don't get promoted, and sometimes they get terminated. All right. So because of the redundancy of the lethargy they have, that's the first category. And then you have a career worker. A career worker is someone who is very strategic as to how and where he or she wants to be in 2 years or 3 years. What they do is they get the job done. They do everything to get promoted. So they excel a little bit. And then after 2 or 3 years, they will hop from one company to the other, right? So if they get another job somewhere and they like the title, they like the money, they will just leave their current employer without thinking twice. So this is a career-minded individual. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But again, those who get promoted most of the time at companies are people in the third category, the mission workers. Now, mission workers are mission-oriented. They care about the company they work for. They care about the company beyond the job. This is someone who will stay in the office until 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or sometimes come on weekend if needed. Right now, I'm not saying this should be a habit, but once in a while, if business conditions so demand, if business conditions so require, it makes sense for a mission worker to show up at work, right? So this is you want to think about that as you craft your identity here. Now, as I said before, a job worker never gets promoted. Career worker change companies often. So if you craft your career as a mission worker, you need to start asking yourself, what is your mission? How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be thought of? Let's just say that you are not in the office. You are on vacation for 2 weeks. How do you want people to think of you? How is your job irreplaceable, or is your job just one among many? So you want to write those things down. Write them down. Write them down. I'll just be waiting for you to write them down. I'm still waiting. You want to write it down, because by writing things down, you are triggering off an avalanche of metabolic and neuronal processes that allow you to stay focused. Things happen in your brain when you write things down. So write down your mission. How do you want to be seen? The kind of stuff you want to focus on. And always try to craft now your personal brand. Now, there are several types of personal brands. Do you want to be memorable? Do you want to be likable? Do you want to be professional? Or do you want to be reliable? Now, usually the mission workers are all four of those. They encompass all of those four qualities. So your personal brand must be memorable. In other words, people must remember you. They must know what you stand for, the kind of work you do. Your projects impact their task at work. They remember you. You are seen and recognized. You want to be likable. You want to be a positive person who always spreads goodness and positivity around. You want to be a professional, never engage in gossip, never engage in office politics, trying to badmouth your colleagues. That's just a big no-no, right? Nobody wants it. And most important thing, you want to be reliable. You want your boss, and your boss's boss for that matter, to rely on you, to know that, John or Jane will always be there to get the job done. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here talking about a very interesting topic, and this is 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a worker. Now, let me just quickly talk to you about number 2 here. But before I talk about the number 2, I want to quickly give you a quote by Jim Rohn. He says, "Either you run the day or the day runs you." Let me repeat that. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Which would you want to be? Do you want to be a day runner or being run over by the day, right? This is very important. So never waste time. If you want to be a winner at work, be focused. And if you want to have, most importantly, if you want to have an Olympic mindset as a professional, never waste time. So there are several ways you can accomplish that. Stay off social media and the internet. Just close it, right? Unless your job needs the internet. If you need to be on the internet for your work, that's okay, but never log into Facebook or Twitter or Google. I'm not saying that those things are bad. I'm just saying that they distract you from the work. When you are at work, be there, be mindful, be there 1000%. Get the job done. Have a plan at the beginning of each day and follow it. Start each day by visualizing how you want the day to be spent, right? Have different tiers of tasks. Tier 1, high priority. Tier 2, medium priority. Tier 3, low priority. Focus on the tier 1 task first, and once you're done with those, move on to the next one. Follow this sort of cascade strategy, right? Tier 1 goes first, tier 2 comes after, and tier 3 is the last. Don't engage in emotionally draining activities. Again, I mentioned that before, right? What are emotionally draining activities? Gossiping, bad mouthing someone. This has no place in a winner. These things have no place in a winner's mindset. If you want to be a winner at work, you got to kick those things out of your brain. All right? Now, focus only on things you can control. If you focus only on things you can control, you will never waste time, because remember, there are things you cannot control in this world, including in the workplace. So the last thing you want to do is chase a rabbit that you can never catch, right? So focus only on things you can control. Forget past mistakes. And this applies not only applies for mistakes that you made yourself, but also mistakes that your colleagues and other people did. So forget them. Don't hold grudges. This is another emotionally draining process. So forget them real quick. Learn from them, of course. I'm not talking about just forgetting the mistakes and just move on and repeat the mistakes, right? You want to learn from it, analyze and process it, and move on fast. Don't focus too much on what other people are doing. Again, this goes on to the gossiping part of stuff, right? The idea here is to focus on things you can control and focus on tier 1 tasks, high priority task, and medium priority task, right? So don't worry too much and don't focus too much on what other people are doing, unless you are working with a colleague and you need their input, or you need their interaction. You need to interact with them. You don't want to care too much about what they're doing, right? Put yourself in first priority. And this is very important. What we've seen during the production of this show is that most people who are winners at work, they put themselves in first priority. Now, I'm not saying to go on an ego trip here. What I'm trying to say here is that you want to understand that you are valuable to the company, and to continue being valuable to the company, you got to work on yourself. And put yourself in first priority means, for instance, investing in yourself by taking training, by taking courses, right? Making sure that you are fit, you are healthy. If you're not feeling well, stay home, take the day off. The idea here is that to put yourself first. Now, another way to avoid wasting time is to do all your work on one device. We just live in a globalized world where we have devices every now and then. We have people even have stuff at home, artificial intelligence, Alexa, whatever, Series. It's just becoming complicated here, right? But when you're at work, try to centralize your work on a single device, right? If you're working on a computer, stay there. Don't try to send yourself an email and check the email while on a break. Just check the email on your phone. Again, there are exceptions, right? If you are in a business that requires seasonal adjustments and you have to be 1000% productive during a specific period of time, then go for it, right? This is more like general advice here. So do all your work on one device. Another thing, and this is the last one for this section here, is keep your email inbox closed if possible. And I found personally this to be wonderful, to be superb when I do this. Like if I have to work, right, and I'm able to close the inbox, my productivity just goes through the roof because I'm able to focus on one thing at a time, right? The whole myth of multitasking being great has been debunked a long time ago, right? There is so much you can do by focusing on a single task than trying to do 1,000 things at the same time. So keep your email inbox closed if possible. I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still here, just sharing some nice data with you. This is fantastic. If you just joining us and you like the content we are distilling so far, the advice we are providing to you, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be kept informed of new shows. We drop this kind of informative shows every single day. And we are an infotainment show, so we do every now and then some information, but also entertainment. And it's always really good to have a nice mix of information and entertainment. Please subscribe to our channel, like the content, share it so someone elsewhere can also be a winner at work. Comment below, give us your tips, tricks, and tactics on how to become really just a winner at work, a winner in life in general, right? And also, please, you want to hang around and listen to the pro tip. I have something mind-blowing for you that you don't want to miss. So the pro tip, I will drop it during the show. You want to hang around until maybe the end or maybe before then, and I will just let you know. And also, please watch the ads we serve during the show. We need resources to upgrade our equipment, to hire more people in our production team, to conduct investigations, to finance the trips to go to site for reporting, and to provide quality free content to you, to our millions of viewers in the whole world. Thank you so much. Now, quickly, let me give a shout out to Ellis Doyle in La Quinta, California, Georgia Chambers in St. Helena, California, and Toby Allen in Bernie, California. Thank you, Toby Allen, Georgia Chambers, and Ellis Doyle for all your support. Number 3, you want to set goals. The third proven step to be a winner at work is to set goals. Now, let me give you a quote by Thomas Jefferson. I am a greater believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. I am a greater believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. In other words, randomness exists, but you gotta trigger that randomness. You gotta trigger that luck, right? Now, folks, we have another big show that covered a similar topic, and if you're interested, you might want to check it out after watching this one. And it's called Easy Step by Step on how to use training and development to supercharge your career, boost your skill set, and make your earnings go through the roof. This is a show that we did a few days ago, and it has been super popular. You might want to check that. Again, the title is Easy Step by Step on how to use training and development to supercharge your career, boost your skill set, and make your earnings go through the roof. Number 3, set goals. Now, make sure each goal is SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. This is a concept that has been used time and again in various disciplines, in project management, in marketing, and business planning. So SMART is just, it's a tried technique that works. So anytime you set a goal, make sure it is specific. Be as specific as possible, right? You want to decide, think of something you want to do or work towards. Do you want to be promoted in 1 year? Do you want to be promoted in 18 months? Do you want to change your current position? Like, think about exactly what you are interested in. Next thing you want to do is you want to write it down. I know I always repeat it, but I'm going to keep saying it until I am 100% sure that you understand the relevance of this. You want to write things down because, again, there is a wide array of metabolical and neuronal triggers that kick off in the brain and in the body when you write things down. You are able to associate with the written word more than with the typed word. All right, so write it down. Another way to set SMART goals is to achieve SMART goals is to tell someone. See, if you tell someone that is close to you, could be a friend, a mentor, a spouse, a colleague, about your goals, in reality, research has shown that telling someone about a goal seems to increase the likelihood that the person telling the person setting the goal will stick to the goal. So there is a higher probability of achievement. All right. Another thing you want to do also is that you want to break your goal down. Break down big goals. If you have big goals, just break them down into smaller objectives and try to go one goal at a time or one objective at a time, right? Because you don't want your brain to freeze, because the last thing you want is your brain to freeze because the task is so huge. You're just like, listen, I'm just out of here. I'm not even started this, right? And you're just in a lethargic mode. Nobody wants that. Remember, a lot of people engage in what psychologists call analysis paralysis. In other words, you spend the whole year just analyzing something and never actually doing something. And this is what happens when, a year end or the beginning of the year, people have New Year's resolution, and that resolution only lasts for 2 weeks. And then by January 15th, they go back to their old selves, to their comfort zone, right? Because they rather would be comfortable just constantly analyzing stuff, right? So they practice analysis paralysis all the time, but they never actually work. They never actually start doing something. So you don't want to do that, right? You want to plan your first step. So after defining your SMART goal or break that goal down into smaller steps, into smaller goals, into smaller objectives, if you will, you want to plan your first step. Give yourself daily, weekly, monthly reminders. This is very important. Plan things to the day, to the week, to the month. That way you can keep going no matter what. Now, every now and then, it is very important. Research has shown that you need to celebrate. You need to celebrate milestones, little milestones, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, celebrate. All right? I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here talking about a wonderful show. I'm very happy you're still around with us. And I want to quickly get into number 4. Before I get into the number 4, we've talked about the top 3. So set goals, never waste time, and craft your identity, right? Before I get into number 4, and number 4 is Cultivate Allies. But let me just quickly provide the context of today's conversation here. Successful professionals agree that prosperity, promotion, and productivity are only byproducts of winning. Although winning at work may seem like an impossible task, there is a methodical, scientific approach to clinching long-lasting recognition in the workplace. According to recent research, including work by experts from McKinsey, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Psychology Today, Woman Magazine, Forbes, and Men's Journal, An organization assigns an inherent value to each employee it hires. That value is multidimensional and multivariate, factoring everything from experience and education to performance and potential. As an employee, you are assigned a value and thus become an asset for your employer. But there is one thing, and only one thing, that significantly increases your value in the organization's eyes and makes you worthier of getting ahead over time. That is potential. Your potential. In this program, we are teaching you how to be a winner at work. We are sharing with you 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a professional. Now, I've already shared 3 with you. Let's move on to the number 4. So, number 4 is Cultivate Allies. Dale Carnegie has said, do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. One of the hard jobs you need to do to be a winner at work is to cultivate allies. Very important. You need to create a clear, smart plan to cultivate allies. Now, I've already talked about what SMART stands for, but what you want to do here is you want to apply it when it comes to having allies, right? So you want to follow this plan on a monthly, quarterly, biannual, or annual basis. What I'm trying to say here is that you need to identify those people you're going to reach out to, and you need to write down, and again, write the plan down. You want to write down how you are going to reach your goals, right? Say you want to establish good relationship with your boss. How are you going to accomplish that? What are you going to do? When are you going to check progress? Why do you want that? So you need to ask those 5 W's plus how. 5 W stands for why, when, who, where, and what. And the how is just the how. So how are you going to do it? So you want to really write those things down because, folks, we're not talking here about fiction here. To be a winner, to be an Olympic star, you want to visualize things in advance. There is a lot of research and a lot of there is abundant literature around the techniques that Olympic athletes, how they visualize their success, how they visualize the trophies even before they compete. Right now, we're not as sophisticated as them, but we can use also some of the research that has been done in that area to get ahead in your career and in everything else, right? So there are a few stakeholders you want to focus on. There are 10 of them, but you want to get at least 2 inside stakeholders and 2 outside stakeholders. Let me just break it down for you. To cultivate allies, you need to have 2 categories of allies. Endogenous allies, so internal allies, people who are in the same company as you, and exogenous or external allies, authorities in the industry. So who are those stakeholders, those internal stakeholders you need to cultivate relationships with? First, your boss. Number 2, your boss's boss. Number 3, your colleagues. Number 4, a rising champion. Number 5, a manager of another department. This is crazily important, folks. Let me repeat that. And the first 5 are only endogenous, internal allies, internal stakeholders. So you have your boss, your direct boss, your boss's boss, your colleagues, a rising champion, and the manager of another department. Now, that department, you can choose it. It has to be strategic though, because if you want to be a winner, you want to choose the manager of a department that counts, right? Maybe you want to move into that department later on. So you want to start cultivating relationships right now with the manager of that department. Another thing that is very important is that in every department, there is something called a rising champion. It's just someone who's just, they're just kicking butt. They are kicking butt. he or she just gets things done. Everybody knows that he or she is going to be promoted. Everybody wants to be around him or her. You want to focus on those rising champions. You need to have one in your circle. Don't go around and not having allies. So if you can establish a good relationship with your colleagues, that's okay. Identify a rising champion. And like I said, you need to have at least 2 stakeholders inside and 2 outside. So if you can't get anything done, always have a great relationship with your direct boss. So your boss is number 1. That's a biggie. You cannot have a crappy relationship with your boss and expect to be a winner at work. It doesn't work, folks. So your boss is number 1. Now, the second one, it's just up to you. It could be your boss's boss. It can be a colleague. It can be a rising champion. It could be the manager of another department. Now, that's for internal stakeholders, internal allies. Let's look now at an exogenous ally. You have a mentor. Now, sometimes you can have the mentor also the same company you're working for. That's fine. But, you can also have a mentor outside. A coach. So somebody can be a coach. So a mentor, sometimes this could be a life mentor, or it could be a professional mentor, right? Now, a coach can be anything. The coach can help you, get your career on track, or any other. Or the coach can also serve in any other capacity here. You want to have a professional contact outside the company. So for instance, this is very easy to do. You can reach out to people actually on LinkedIn. So the idea here is to find someone who works in the same industry and sometimes in the same job as you, and you want to have them as your contact. You want to hang around them. And I'm not talking folks just about sending emails on LinkedIn. I'm talking about actually hanging out in face to face, meeting them at during a happy hour, or at the children's soccer game, or at an industry event. Whatever you got to do, you got to step out there, out of your comfort zone, and meet people. All right. Number four, in the external stakeholder category, you want to cultivate relationships with an industry luminary, an expert, right? Those are what we call the SME, subject matter experts, someone who is recognized in the industry. You want to cultivate a relationship with that person. Now, it's not as complicated as you think it is. Those folks are available on social media. They are easily found at industry events. They do coaching, they do workshops, they come for roundtable talks. You can ask questions. You can actually find creative ways to get to know those people. Now, if the audience wants us to do a specific show on that, please comment below. Give us your take. If you want us to do a great show on how to attract industry luminaries and how to connect with powerful folks in your industry, we'll be more than happy to do that. Just comment below. Just let us know. The last person that you want to connect with externally is an authority in the subject. This could be a reporter. This could be an author. This could be a university professor. Whatever it is, this is someone who is technically strong in the subject matter in which you're interested. All right, so this is it for this section. You want to cultivate allies. I'll be right back right after this. But before, I totally forgot. Remember, I gave you 10 stakeholders here. And the idea is to always have at least 2 inside and 2 outside, right? So 2 inside, starting with your boss and maybe your boss's boss, if you will, or a colleague. And outside, you also want to think about 2, at least 2. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm just very happy to still have you around here. We are having a wonderful time. Just want to talk quickly about today's subject. We are talking about 10 proven steps to be a winner at work, to develop an Olympic mindset, right? I want to quickly give a shout out to Louis Mills in Ballard Hill, Arkansas, Esme Phillips in Black Oak, Arkansas, and Ewan Harley in Van, Arkansas. Those are winners at work. Really appreciate, your help, your tips, your suggestions, your feedback. We really appreciate that. We want to say hi to our millions of viewers, of listeners in the United States, in Canada, in the UK, in Germany, in France, in China, in Japan, in South Korea, and all over the world. We really appreciate the feedback. Thank you. Number 5, you want to communicate properly. But before I even talk about number 5, I just want to give you another quote, another really relevant quote. It says, and this is by Tyler Perry, the Hollywood celebrity, "Developing a good work ethic is key. Apply yourself at whatever you do, whether you are a janitor or taking your first summer job, because that work ethic will be reflected in everything you do in life." Signed, Tyler Perry, another great Hollywood celebrity here. Now, when it comes to you want to communicate properly, when it comes to communicating properly here, we have done another wonderful show on communication, and you might want to double check that if you get a chance. The title is "The Ultimate Vademecum on How to Impress Your Boss, Gain Admiration from Colleagues, Be Promoted Quickly, and Achieve Industry Recognition." So you want to check that out if you get some time here. Now, how do you communicate properly? That's number 5. That's the 5th proven step to be a winner at work. You want to know the 5 different types of workplace communication. When it comes to communication, workplace communication, there are 5 communication types that you need to master. The first one is the dress code. Your dress code says a lot more about you than your resume. I don't care what anybody says. I'm just so convinced about that. So your dress code is very important. Make sure that you match your dress code with the idiosyncrasies of the particular job you're in, the company dress code, and the industry, right? So dress code is number 1. Number 2, your verbal communication. So verbal in-person communication. I'm not, here I want to emphasize in-person, face-to-face communication. Whatever possible and whenever possible, use face-to-face communication in the workplace to eliminate many of the misunderstandings that can occur. And the Lord knows there is so much going on right now. There is so much going on right now when it comes to misunderstanding. So we want to get rid of that. So always prefer in-person communication. Number 3, body language and facial expressions. Another key one, right? Body language and facial expressions constitute the 3rd cornerstone of proper workplace communication. So watch those. Phone conversations come in number 4 when it comes to workplace communication. And the last one is the written communication. So 5 types, you have to know those 5 types of workplace communication if your goal is to communicate properly. If your goal is to become a master, an expert in workplace communication, know those things, all right? Now, here are a few tips you want to remember. Listen more. Most of us are terrible listeners. Terrible listeners. Are you listening to me? Are you listening right now? Are you? Are you? I hope you are, because most of us, including myself, we are terrible listeners. People are just thinking about blah, 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 blah. Their mind is they're distracted. So if you want to communicate properly, you need to listen. You want to get a bit personal. A bit personal meaning like you want to talk to someone, and you want to talk to someone on a personal level. And a good way to do this is to know something private about the person, right? So things like birthdays, anniversaries, children's first and last first names, children's passion, causes, philanthropic causes that your interlocutor cares about. Those things are important. Those things play a big role in establishing you as a great communicator. You want to pay attention to body language. That I've said it before, when it comes to body language is one part of workplace communication, but here I want to emphasize, I want to stress this again. You want to be you want to pay attention to body language. Consider your tone, right? Nobody wants to scream like no, or whine. No. Consider the tone and the pace of your communication of your voice. Never stop improving, right? You want to position yourself as an eternal learner, as an everlasting learner. And this is great because nobody is ever too old or too young to learn, right? And don't be too casual. Of course, we talked about that before, right? When it comes to dress code and facial expression or just body gestures at work, don't be too casual. You're not at home. You're not home here, okay? Check your grammar, right? We talked about written communications. We have a lot of tools, including Microsoft Word, to help you check your grammar, right? It's just so crappy to have like a typo, so many typos. Imagine having too many typos destroys the reading experience. So please pay attention to that and keep criticism constructive. If you have to give criticism, please keep it constructive all the time. All right. Another thing that you want to also start doing that will help you communicate properly is to restate whatever you hear. Because by restating something, you are not only telling yourself that you understood what you heard, but you also confirming and reassuring your interlocutor that you have understood what he or she said. So restate what you hear. All right. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are here today still talking about the top 10 proven steps to becoming a winner at work. And we are just so pleased to share this content with you because it is important, right? Everybody should be allowed, at least, should be given a chance to be a winner at work. So before I get into the nitty-gritty of this section, please allow us to be a winner. Do you feel like we are winning here? If you feel like we are adding value to your life, please consider subscribing to our channel. Hit the notification bell so Google and all the other platforms can notify you whenever we drop a new piece of content. Please also like this content, share with people, with friends, family, colleagues, people who might benefit from this kind of content. Comment below. Give us your experience about communication. Give us your experience about setting goals. Give us your experience about cultivating relationships with allies at work. Give us your experience about productivity, how to avoid wasting time, and give us your experience about brain crafting, how you can craft your own personal brain. Help the rest of the community learn about your own experience here. Now, I want to say that before I move into this number 6, understand the big picture. Before I move into that, let me first again give the context that is underpinning today's conversation. Now, successful professionals agree that prosperity, promotion, and productivity are only byproducts of winning. Although winning at work may seem like an impossible task, there is a methodical, scientific approach to clinching long-lasting recognition in the workplace. According to recent research, including work by experts from McKinsey, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Psychology Today, Woman Magazine, Forbes, and Men's Journal, an organization assigns an inherent value to each employee it hires. That value is multidimensional and multivariate, factoring everything from experience and education to performance and potential. As an employee, you are assigned a value and thus become an asset for your employer. But there is one thing, and only one thing, that significantly increases your value in the organization's eyes and makes you worthier of getting ahead over time. And that is potential, folks. Your potential. In this program, we are teaching you how to be a winner at work. We are sharing with you 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a professional. So stay tuned. Now, let's move on to step number 6, right? Step number 6. Understand the big picture. And talking about big picture, I want to give you a great quote by Zig Ziglar. Success means doing the best we can with what we have. Success is the doing, not the getting. In the trying, not the triumph. Success is a personal standard, reaching for the highest that is in us, becoming all that we can be. Great Zig Ziglar quote here, right? And this is what I mean. You want to understand the big picture. You want to know what your department aims to do within the company. Those are things you have to do. Earlier, I was talking to you about being a mission worker as opposed to being a career worker or a job worker. If you are a mission worker, you care about what your department is aiming to do within the company, because you know what? You cares about what the company itself is doing. So you are aware of what's going on, right? You're not caught off guard here. You know in detail, you know the minutia of what's really happening in the company. So you want to understand what your department aims to do within the company. You want to find out what are the key things for your organization. What are the key things? What does your company stands for? What is your company trying to achieve in the marketplace in the next, say, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is senior management long-term vision? Those are things you have to know. You have to drink those things as Kool-Aid, really. Well, not as Kool-Aid, but you have to really understand those and internalize that mission, right? So this is part of understanding the big picture. You want to know what your boss's boss wants. Very important, folks. Very important. You want to know what your boss's boss wants. You also want to know what your boss wants, what your direct boss wants. So not only do you want to understand what your direct manager wants, you also want to understand what his or her boss wants. Now you don't have to necessarily work for your boss's boss, but it really helps to give you an understanding of the bigger picture, what your boss's bosses or bosses want, right? What I'm trying to say here is that you want to know as much as possible. You want to understand, and this is very key, folks, you want to understand how your own job fits in the overall picture. Why are you important? Why is your job important? And it is even important. Are you irreplaceable? Is your job relevant to what the company is doing, right? This is why you want to understand how your job fits, because think about it. If you know what your department aims to achieve, if you know what is the key vision for your company, if you know what your boss's boss wants, if you know what your own boss wants, and you know how those things interrelate, you would clearly find out whether or not your job is relevant or whether or not you are going to be put into oblivion very soon. In other words, your job will be terminated, right? So make sure that while doing that research, you want to find out how to make your job relevant and fun for yourself. Folks, fun, F-U-N. You want to make your job fun, because it's just very crazy to have a crappy job, right? And you cannot be a winner if you don't like your job. You need to find a way to transform, even if the job is boring or whatever. If you want to stay in that job, you need to find a way to transform it and make it fun. And you also have to think about how to transform your job into a key role, right? So because if you want to be a key player, you need to play on a key platform, and that platform has to be tied to a key job. So if you don't, you can't try to be a winner or try to be a key player if you're just doing a third tier or fourth tier job. You need to find a way to transform that fourth tier job into a top tier job. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still here today. Just wanted to talk about step number 7 here. We want to continue the conversation. This is an important conversation, and want to talk now about number 7, be positive. But before I even talk about being positive, I just want to quickly give a shout out to Jensen Cook in Picture Rocks, Arizona, Caitlin Holmes, and she is in Pantano, Arizona, and Riley Day in Continental, Arizona. Thank you so much for being around. We really appreciate it. Riley Day, Caitlin Holmes, and Jensen Cook, all the way. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much. Now, before I talk about being positive, let me give you again, if you are interested in the topic of being positive and how this can help you at work, I want to give you two things. Number one, we had done a show recently that received a lot of accolades that you might find relevant to. That show is titled Easy Step by Step on How to Use Training and Development to Supercharge Your Career, Boost your skill set, and make your earnings go through the roof. That's the first element. The second thing I want to say here is that I want to give you a quote by the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Oh boy, he is so right. This holiness, the Dalai Lama just this quote is just mind-boggling. It is true. So just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day, by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now, I want to talk here about why it is important to be positive and how this positivity can impact your winning career, your winning personality, your winning attitude, right? Surround yourself with positive people. And this applies not just for the workplace, just in general, but since we are talking about an occupational topic here, you want to surround yourself with positive folks at work. The second thing that is very important here is that don't rely on an outside source of positivity, which is where I was talking earlier about, to find a way to make your job fun. So what's happening here is that, if you're waiting for someone to help you make your job fun, then you are not going to make it. You're not going to succeed because you are constantly will be relying on somebody else. The idea here is to create something that is coming from you. All right. Appreciate your job, no matter how crappy you think it is. Because at the end of the day, what you call this crappy job, that's what's keeping you busy. Not only physically busy, but sharp mentally. It puts food on your family's table. So be grateful. Gratitude is very important. So you want to be grateful. And the idea here is to transform that job that you may not like, or aspects of the job that you may not like, to transform those aspects into something positive or something fun. Fill your mind with positive input. So at work, try to talk to folks who are positive, to colleagues who are positive. Read interesting articles about the industry. Read interesting profile. Just something nice. You have a lot of magazines that do from time to time very in-depth, positive, great profiles on industry luminaries, on celebrities. Read those to fill your mind with positive input. You want to decide. Another way to be positive at work is to decide your reaction to known problems ahead of time. Right? You want to do your homework, you want to do some research, and you want to be proactive, not reactive. See, if you decide your reaction to known problems ahead of time, you're not reacting there. You are being proactive. Because being reactive means that there is the action of reacting is simultaneous to the problem occurring. That's not what you want. You want to take time to take a deep breath and analyze things beforehand and decide your reaction. You want to control your language. Now, this goes without saying, right? If you want to be positive at work, I spoke earlier about, restraining from office gossips, office politics, bad mouthing people, talking bad about the company also. That's just a big no-no. Right? So you want to control your language. We want to eliminate. We want to discard any foul language. You want to speak properly. You want to speak with proper grammar. We want to use the right word. We want to speak properly at work and use the kind of a verbiage that is suitable for a good workplace. All right. You want to create a routine for the day. So if you want to be positive, you need to establish some kind of habit. It has to be some kind of positivity habit. It could be reading a nice quote in the morning, watching a 5-minute comedy sketch maybe around noon while taking your break. But you got to have those sort of momentary, those small bouts of positivity throughout the day. And that's what's going to keep you going. Like, going and going and going and going and going, like this famous bunny, right? So that's really what it is. And the last thing you can do to be positive is what? Be nice to other people. Be nice to people, right? If you want folks to be good to you, to be nice to you, you have to reciprocate, or you have to do it first, actually. Right? So be nice to people. Try to control your language, control your body, your body gestures, control whom you hang out with, or around whom you hang out, and be nice to other people. All right? I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here talking about this very interesting topic, and we've covered 7 steps so far on how to become a winner at work. Now I want to talk to you about number 8. Now, before I do that, I want to give you a nice quote by Eva Young. To think too long about doing a thing often becomes its undoing. Let me repeat that. It's so deep. This is so deep. To think too long about doing a thing often becomes its undoing. And Eva Young has said that. Great woman, very smart woman. Now, one of the things I want to talk about here is that number 8, remember the little things. Remember the little things. Why is this important? And what are those little things? The little things focus on anything that has nothing to do with the work. So you want to focus on extra work activities, right? You want to focus on things like, if you have a team outing, or you have a team bonding event, anything, year-end festivities, anything that has nothing to do with the work, you want to focus on those 2. You not only want to remember them, but you want to focus on them. You can have reminders here and there, that kind of stuff. And most importantly, you want to focus on the little things that concern or that relate to your allies. Remember, I gave you 10 ally categories. 10 ally categories actually, and I was advising you to choose at least 2. So out of the 10, you got to choose 2 categories in internal and 2 categories externally. So you have 4. So you want to focus on your allies. So what are the little things I was talking about? Work anniversaries, colleagues' birthdays, spouses' names, their professions, their passions, life events, things like birth, but also death. If you have a colleague who has lost a significant other or a family member, it's always good to remember to be sympathetic to them on that day, or on the anniversary of the death or the birth. Children's names, their gender, their talents, whatever it is. This is always a big winner. If you want folks to like you, if you want folks to see you as a winner, you want to start remembering what's important to them. So I was talking earlier about team bonding activities. That's very important. At the organization level, there's something called CSR, standing for Corporate Social Responsibility. This is just a company doing some good in the community, showing that they are a good corporate citizen. And as much as you can, get involved, get engaged in that kind of stuff. This will help you. This has no downside risk. So get involved, reach out, help out. And another thing you can do also when it comes to the little things I was talking about is philanthropic initiatives. Do you have a cause that matters to you? Do you have an organization in your neighborhood that needs help? Right? Identify those sources of volunteering needs and see if you can fulfill some of those. Another thing you can do is that the pets. You can help out pets if you have a pet, or you have a neighbor who has a pet, a dog. Just offer to walk the dog once in a while. So those are the little things, right? For your colleagues or your allies, do they have pets? What are the names of those pets? What is the breed? Remember those things, and remember the birthday of those pets if you know them. So this is very important. Another thing you want to do also is that you want to know more about your own, the people that you are dealing with, their relatives' info. So here I'm not talking about just your bosses anymore, but you want to think about the people like external people, like coaches, industry luminaries, this kind of stuff. Again, you don't have to do all those 10 things here, right? But chances are, if you can try to do 2 or 3, you are on your way to achieving greatness. Because it's all about kicking the ball. It's all about starting something. It's all about getting into the habit of making it happen, right? Because once you do that, you are able to increase your potential in the company. And remember that what I said earlier, that there is one thing and only one thing that significantly increases your value in the organization's eyes and makes you worthier of getting ahead over time, and that is potential. Your potential. And by doing by following the 10 proven steps to an Olympic mindset that I'm giving you here, you are going to increase your potential, and that's all you need, really. All right, so I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm just very happy that you're still around. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being around. I'm just very happy here. I just want to quickly give a shout out to Andrew Graham in Tufty, Alaska, Ruby Hill in Silvertip, Alaska, and Josh Gordon in Bukowski, Alaska. Thank you so much, Josh, Ruby, and Andrew, for your support and for your tips, for your feedback. We really appreciate that. I also want to give a quick shout out to our millions of fans and viewers and listeners in the United States, in Canada, in Mexico, by the way, in Guatemala. We got some nice feedback from that country also. In Equatorial Guinea, this is pretty interesting. We having fans and viewers and listeners all over the world. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I also want to talk now about the number nine steps here. Before I do that, please remember to check our program. We have another program that you might like. It's titled The Ultimate Vademecum on How to Impress Your Boss, Gain Admiration from Colleagues, Be Promoted Quickly, and Achieve Industry Recognition. You might want to check it out. You will be blown away. It has a wealth of info in there, right? Now, let me give you a good quote by George Lorimer. You've got to get up every morning with determination if you are going to go to bed with satisfaction. Oh, that's just so deep. This is profound, folks. Let me just repeat that. You've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. George Lorimer. Now, do your best while at work. This is very important. This is step number 9. If you want to be a winner at work, you need to do your best while at work. This is kind of similar or a little related to another step that I told you, where you have to never waste time, right? So while you're at work, it doesn't mean you have to be productive each day, right? But always give it your best. You can be productive Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Some days, things just don't work. It's okay, right? It's biology mixed with psychology, and things happen, and the last thing you know, you're just tired, you want to go home. That's fine. But while you are at work, and if you feel good, try to be productive 1000%. If you are tired or uninspired, take the day off. It's okay, right? It's fine. Start tracking and limiting how much time you're spending on task. This is very important. You want to track how much you're spending on tasks, so you know whether you're making progress or you're just shrinking, right? And you want to take regular breaks. Like how sometimes they tell you, if you drive for 2 hours, after 2 hours of driving, you want to take a 5-minute break or 10 minutes break. Some people even take breaks every hour or every 3 hours. Whatever it is, the thing is that after a while, your brain starts going into lethargy zone. So to sort of boost things a little bit, take a break, right? Drink some water, get out of the car, stretch. But here we're talking about work. So if you're working, take a break, go to the cafeteria, get some coffee, get some tea. No vodka though. But try to get something just to get your system going again, right? You want to really jolt your system again. And set self-imposed deadlines. right? If you want to be a winner, you have to think as a winner. You have to think as a leader. So you want to set self-imposed deadlines. Another thing here is that you want to follow the 5-minute, what I call the 5-minute rule. So if you see, if you see a task or action, or you see something that is bothering you, or something that you can do in 5 minutes or less, do it immediately, right? So if you see, let me repeat that, the 5-minute rule. If you see a task that you can do in 5 minutes or less, do it immediately. Now some people talk about the 2-minute rule, the 3-minute rule, the 10-minute rule, whatever it is. It just has to be a small amount, a small number of minutes. I like the 5 minutes rule because I believe 5 minutes it's realistic, and some tasks can be done in 5 minutes indeed. Another way to do your best while at work is to never say no to meetings. Whenever you call into a meeting, always say yes. Because you want to be seen, you want to plant the seed of a good reputation. You want to be seen by your colleagues and by management as somebody who is what? Reliable. We want to be reliable, folks, right? So never say no to meetings. Hold standing meetings. Sometimes people just, when you hold standing meetings, the meeting tend to go fast because people just want to sit there. They're tired of just talking, right? So you just want to hold a standing meeting about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and you're done. You just move on to your work. This is how you can save time at work. Quit multitasking, right? Multitasking never works, regardless of what people are saying. The brain is not wired. We're not robots. Humans are not robots, right? I don't care how multi-talented you are. I don't care your IQ, the number, whether you have 1,000 IQ or 150 or 250, I don't even know. But research has proven that multitasking doesn't work. So instead of doing multitasking, focus on one task at a time. Another way to also do your best while at work is to take advantage of your commute, right? There are things you can do while riding from home to work. While commuting, you can basically, assuming of course that you're not driving, right? You can do things. You can check emails. You can do things before getting to work so that when you get to work, things go faster, right? And also take exercise breaks, right? Before I was talking about take regular breaks, drinking water, whatever, but you can also go and stretch. You can even go and just walk, actually. Get out the building and go take a walk. Get some fresh air. If you live in an area that is in an area with nice weather, of course. So take exercise breaks. Your body will thank you for this, right? All right. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here. We want to talk to you about all the things you need to do to be able to be a winner at work. And we've talked about 9 proven steps. Now we are going to number 10. And before I talk about number 10, I just want to give you a quote by Thomas Edison. He said, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work." This is just great. Great inventor Thomas Edison. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. So when you see a challenge or you see work, it's actually an opportunity. It's just dressed in overalls. Now, for those who just joined us, we want to give you a quick context of today's conversation here. And here it is. Successful professionals agree that prosperity, promotion, and productivity are only byproducts of winning. Although winning at work may seem like an impossible task, there is a methodical, scientific approach to clinching long-lasting recognition in the workplace. According to recent research, including work by experts from McKinsey, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Psychology Today, Women Magazine, Forbes, and Men's Journal, an organization assigns an inherent value to each employee it hires. That value is multidimensional and multivariate, factoring everything from experience and education to performance and potential. As an employee, you are assigned a value and thus become an asset for your employer. But there is one thing, and only one thing, that significantly increases your value in the organization's eyes and makes you worthier of getting ahead over time. And that is potential. Your potential. So in this program, we have shared with you how to be a winner at work. We have shared with you so far we've shared 9 proven steps to an Olympic mindset as a professional. So here is number 10. The 10 proven steps here is that you need to visualize your success. Visualize your success. Now, how do you visualize that? If you remember, Olympic athletes, Olympic champions, they have this sort of routine about visualizing success before it actually even happens, right? And we want to help you do that. Now, how do you do it? You want to write your goals down on paper. If you can write your goals down on paper, they become easy. They become relatively easier, actually. Talk to yourself. Mumble to yourself. Try to do this not in private, not in front of people. People might start thinking you're crazy. You're going cuckoo here. But you can talk to yourself in the bathroom, while driving, while commuting. You can talk to yourself. While walking, while taking a walk, while walking the dog. Talk to yourself, right? Order a sticker indicating manager of the year, employee of the month, sales rep of the quarter, whatever it is, whatever you fancy. Order a sticker and label that and put it somewhere that you can see it. It could be on your mirror every day when you're brushing your teeth, or in your car. Whatever it is, order something that boosts your ego and makes you want to work. Right? You want to stick that label, like I said, somewhere you can see it every day. It's very important. It could be in the background of your desktop or laptop. It can be an audio alarm each morning. It could be in the bathroom, right? So the sticker can be even a sound, actually. So you wake up every day and say, so you have some kind of audio alarm that says every morning, wake up now, manager of the year, or wake up today, be bright and shine, sales rep of the quarter. Whatever it is, it has to be as crazy as possible. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. Only you. And all you want to do is to visualize your success. You want to be able to, there is a lot of info out there about the law of attraction and how people are able to become millionaire. People are able to be promoted, get the position they want by using scientific approach in the law of attraction, right? So if they can do it, you can also do it, right? Now, another way to visualize your success and to be a winner at work is to imagine your desired position, to imagine your desired job title next to your name. Imagine that, right? Let's say you want to be promoted to a director of digital marketing at your company. What you want to do is you want to say, John Doe, director of digital marketing at so-and-so company. You can even order business cards. But of course, the problem here is that people might think that you're lying, or this is like fake, or this is like fraud. So you want to just maybe go online or use a PowerPoint or use some kind of graphic software and design a business card with your name and keep it on your computer, on your phone. So again, imagine your desired job title next to your name. Imagine your goals from your personal perspective, right? This will help you visualize success. The idea here is to accustom your brain to anything you want to see in your real life. Okay. Now, anytime, that's very important, you want to visualize short-term and long-term goals. It's very important because they don't work on the brain the same way. So short-term goals have a sense of urgency and in some cases emergency, whereas long-term goals might be a little lethargic. They might bring a sense of lethargy in you because the brain is thinking it's just so far away, right? It's 5 years, it's 3 years down the road. There's nothing urgent here. But yeah, you need to visualize your success. All right. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm very happy that you're still around with us here. Please, if you just are joining us or you've been listening to me for a while now, please consider subscribing to this channel. We really appreciate it. We want to grow the Sweetie Kiwi community. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you are informed whenever we have a new show. You also please like this show if you believe we're adding value to people by teaching people how to be winners at work, in the workplace. Share this content with people that you know need it right now. Right now, somewhere in the world, somewhere in America, there is someone who needs to hear this kind of content. Please share. Comment below. Give us your experience. What is the audience experience? Tell us your particular insight, your opinion when it comes to being a winner at work. All right? Comment below. Share your experience. Also, please watch all ads that are served throughout the show, because this show is ad supported. We need resources to hire more people in our team, to expand the production team, to fund trips, to fund surveys and investigations, the reporting, to upgrade our equipment. We need funding. So we really appreciate if you can help us by watching the ads served throughout the show. Now, let's talk about the recap here, right? Because we talked about the top 10 proven steps to becoming a winner at work. But before I do that, just want to quickly give you another show that you might be interested in, and that is easy step-by-step on how to use training and development to supercharge your career, boost your skill set, and make your earnings go through the roof. That's another show that we did a few days or weeks ago. You might want to double check that. It's just fantastic. Just want to quickly give a shout out to Mason Sparks in Delta, Alabama, Rebecca Travis in Hendricks, Alabama, and Connor Hull in Shelby, Alabama. I love Shelby, all the way. Thank you. So the thing here is that before I do the recap, I just want to say, I want to give you this quote by Paulo Coelho. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. So if you strive to become a winner, everything around you and everybody around you becomes a winner as well. I'm just paraphrasing Paulo Coelho here. So here's a recap. The top 10 proven steps to becoming a winner at work and to having an Olympic mindset as as a professional rather, or craft your identity, never waste time, set goals, cultivate allies, communicate properly, understand the big picture, be positive, remember the little things, do your best while at work, visualize your success. Right now, here is today's call to action. In every show, as you know now, if you are a loyal Sweetie Kiwi fan, you know that we always have call to action, right? And the thing here is that we all know the popular quote that says information is power. And some people say that even a little child knows. This saying may be powerful, but nowadays it has become a cliche. For me, information is certainly power, but action, folks, action is omnipotence, all powerfulness, supremacy. Doing things is what moves the world. Doing things is why you are currently where you are. And doing things will be the number one reason why you will reach the destination you want to reach. In this case, the destination is to become a winner at work. So act today and start moving your life in the right professional direction. To get you started, here are a few things I recommend you do. Set up specific goals today so you know where you are going professionally speaking. Learn to take responsibility for your action. Invest in yourself. Take online or offline courses. Hire a coach if needed. Form winning habits. Establish a lifelong routine for learning, right? Again, this is not just offline or online. You can learn through mentors, coaches, industry luminaries. You can watch documentaries. You can do everything, but you need to have that sort of a routine, the mindset. Find a mentor. Of course, a coach can also become a mentor, but coach is more, coach usually charge for their services, while mentors do not. So that's the difference. And stay focused and revisit your goals very often. So this could be on a quarterly basis or by annual basis, whatever it is. You want to get into the habit of revisiting your goals. All right, this is it, folks. Of course, we have the pro tip, and I will give you the pro tip right after this. Don't go anywhere. Okay, today's pro tip. Before I talked about the tip, let me just give you a great quote by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. By Henry Ford. So you have to be willing to work harder than others. This is today's pro tip. You have to be a winner. You have to be willing to work harder than others. And in the end, it all comes to working hard, right? If you want to be a winner, you need to have a mix of hard work and determination. And this can also, you can parlay this skill set into other parts of your life. Right? To become a winner as an Olympic champion, you need to be willing to work harder. All right? Take care. Thank you. Stay marvelous. And thank you.